Am I going to be arrowing down?
You're just going to click on it.
It's the show the establishment warned you about.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. And thank you for choosing to join us today on the Ask Dr. Tommy Show. Actually, the Dr. Tommy Show, sorry. Ask Dr. Tommy's old nomenclature. And you are joining us live from Wesley Chapel, Florida, soon to be live from Lutz, Florida, when we move over to our new location, which is currently underway. It is approximately 3 weeks until we start in the new office in Lutz.
Yes. Who wants to come help us?
We still have openings for laminate layers, upstairs painters,
Cabinet installers.
mulch installers, gutter cleaners. What else?
That's probably it. That's about all we have left.
We have the plumber lined up. One of the good things about having
movers.
a concierge practice is you have multiple business owners who are business owners, and so we have anyway. Short story is we have plumber. One of our members is a plumber, and one of our members, or not one of our members, but one of our sponsors is Atlas MD, which is the membership medical software that you need to have if you are a concierge medicine or direct primary care doctor. And to use Atlas MD, all you have to do is go to AskDrTommy.com and click on special offer for Atlas MD, and then you can use Atlas MD for free for 60 days, which is 30 days longer than normal. And that will entitle you to full access. And all you have to do is put in a few demographic information, your license, put in your address, put in your name, and then within about 5 minutes, really, you'll have the most, I think, up-to-date, as far as technology is concerned, membership medicine software that you could possibly even imagine at this point. We have a kind of a hodgepodge today because we've had kind of a hodgepodge, I don't know, week, I guess, between going
busy.
to this office here working and then what?
Well, and then at the new office, painting. We've been there pretty much every day trying to paint. We have Christmas we're preparing for. I'm trying to wrap gifts and do what I need to do. It's been busy.
Yep. And then we have we went on a trip.
We did. It was fun, wasn't it?
So for those of you listening who watched or listened last week, there was a secret trip that we went to, and it was to Jacksonville, Florida, by way of
well, we stayed in Keystone Heights first, but then we did go to Jacksonville on Thursday.
And we stayed at the Mike Rose Goldhead Branch State Park, which was in a historic cabin, and we actually have a video of it at the end, so we'll show you that video.
It's one of the oldest state parks in
Florida.
State of Florida. It
was built in the 30s by the Civilian Conservation Corps, which, if you are familiar with your history, is a make-work program that the government came up with during the Great Depression in order to put people to work. And one of the things they did was go around and build a bunch of different parks that still stand today. And so it was interesting staying there because we were looking at the cabin and it looks like it was built not long ago.
Yes,
inside.
It was most definitely built out of good quality wood by good quality men, maybe women too, I don't know. But it was definitely, it was really unique, and it was really nice to stay there. And, so the cabin the sleeping area was, I think, that was their original, and I believe that the kitchen area and possibly the bathroom were additions.
Yeah, I think the kitchen was
at some point, I don't
know.
Because
if you look at the building on the outside, it looks like a cabin, and then you can almost envision how they built this other part on, and the wood is different in there.
The wood is different, and the temperature was different.
Yeah.
It was freezing in the other part of the cabin.
Yeah. So I think probably it was an addition.
I think so too. But it had a wood it had a fireplace inside, and it was just really cozy.
There's 16 cabins there. 9 of them are the historic cabins, and then 6 of them are quote unquote modern, which means they have block construction, and they also have central heat and air. And then 2 of those 6 are ADA accessible. And they're beautiful.
And they're right on Little Lake Johnson. Ours was the closest to the lake. It's a small little lake. It was nice, and you can rent a canoe. We didn't do that, but you can rent a canoe. There's trails to walk. We seen 2 deer. Remember?
We did, and there's unfortunate history there of a Miller family. So if you watch our video at the end, you'll see we talk about that a little bit about the Miller family and what happened to them.
That poor Miller boy
at Little Lake Johnson. One of the things that we went to do was the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Gosh, how awesome was that?
It was fun.
Holy cow! Awesome. If you've never seen them, or if you don't know what they are, Trans-Siberian Orchestra is a band. There's actually 2 of them. There's an East and West band, although I think they both tour the same areas. Anyway, there's an East and West band. And what it is it's a group of musicians who perform Christmas music, but it's Christmas music with an edge a lot of times. Sometimes it's just beautiful singing, but a lot of times it's Christmas music with like
rocking
a heavy
out,
metal,
head thrashing, pole dancing, a little bit of pole dancing.
A little bit of pole dancing, a little bit of Silent Night, Holy Night, followed by pole dancing with building that's on fire. It looks like hell.
Yes.
And it was really awesome. And the origins of the band is a group called Sabotage, which actually, if you are from the Tampa Bay area, you may remember Sabotage. And they actually were tied in with WYNF, 95 WYNF. And I believe they had somehow they were 95 WYNF gave them some money or something to start out. Anyway, Sabotage was a metal band in the 90s. And then there was a producer named Paul O'Neill. So if you remember last year, unfortunately...
No, this year.
This year in June. Paul O'Neill died. Paul O'Neill was the producer of Sabotage and later founded the Trans-Siberian Orchestra with members of Sabotage, or the core members of Sabotage. And they made 2 studio albums, and then they started touring in 1999. And after that, they became one of the most successful touring acts of the 2000s, continuing till today. And so today there's 2 groups. There's like I said, an East and West group. They play the same thing. They have this amazing performance stage, which moves and has lights and it's
fire,
unbelievable.
The projectors, the screens behind them that look 3D.
Yes.
I mean, it's not even, I don't know, it doesn't even look like a screen.
Yeah, Madison was watching a video of it that was taken on a cell phone, and she herself was saying, is that real? Are those, I mean, that looks like a building is there.
Yes, that tiger that jumped, it was like he was jumping out at us. It is amazing. It was a great experience.
It felt like we were there for 3 hours. And when we left, I thought, well, surely it's going to be 11:30. And we were only there for 2 hours and change. But they put on such a performance, so much is packed into it. It's amazing.
And plus, they're all over the arena. You know, they're in the front, they're on the sides, they're up high, they're down low.
The stage goes up and down. And so the one we saw was the Ghost of Christmas Eve. So they have a program that basically is like an album. And it runs and it has this interactive video and it tells a story of, this one happened to be about a girl who was living on the streets and then was able to connect with her family. And so that was the story. And then they break. Well, they don't break, actually. Then they say, okay, thank you. And Al Petrelli, who's a former member of Megadeth, is the band leader. So he was a lead guitarist, and he starts to address the audience, and he talks about Paul O'Neill and why they do what they do. And then they go into the second set, which is just greatest hits of the orchestra. And boy, there's some heavy stuff there. Yeah,
it was awesome. It was amazing. It was both of our first time doing it, and I definitely would love to see it again and take the girls. So if you've never seen them, you need to really do it. And they're going to be performing all over in several states.
They were just here.
They were, what's it called, Amalie
Arena.
I don't know why I can never remember that. Amalie Arena. I think Saturday and Sunday, maybe this past week. It had to have been this past week.
I think it was this past weekend.
But anyway, because you do a few things on the weekend, we had to drive to Jacksonville because that was the only Thursday showing in the state of Florida. 18
tractor trailers it takes to haul their stage show. It's amazing. So check it out. It's Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And if you're listening to it, there's also another band out there called Mannheim Steamroller. They are similar, but not to be confused, in that they both have a popular music twist to the music of Christmas. But Mannheim Steamroller, I think, has been around longer. But Trans-Siberian Orchestra and Mannheim Steamroller are both two new growing Christmas traditions that people are.
Mannheim Steamroller, where are they going to be? Do you know where they're going to be performing? Do they come to Florida?
I'm sure they do.
Because I don't really hear, you don't hear much about them.
Well, you know, I heard about Mannheim Steamroller because Rush plays Mannheim Steamroller every Christmas. That's how I know who Mannheim Steamroller is.
Well, I've heard of them, but I just don't hear them talking about it as much on the radio, and I don't see
it's a little
tickets popping up, you know.
It's more symphonic type of music rather than this heavy metal. Mm-hmm. It's more of kind of like, I don't know. It's different. It's a little bit different, but it's probably still good. I haven't seen them.
No, I haven't either.
So anyway, that's cool. Trans-Siberian Orchestra. That was my Christmas, right?
That was your Christmas
That's
present.
it, though? Nothing else, huh?
What do you mean nothing else?
No, it was fun. That's all I want for Christmas.
You had a trip and stayed in a cabin for 2 days?
Kaylee's getting her two front teeth for Christmas, it looks like.
Yeah,
she's good. Nothing else for her. That's it. 2 front teeth.
Yeah, Kaylee will not be happy with that either. 2 front teeth. But yes, thank goodness she's getting her teeth. She hasn't been able to eat an apple for quite some time now.
Also wanted to talk about, you know, I was going through my email and I came across this old email. I kept it. And I just think it's interesting for all you doctors out there, or any of you are employed doctors. You know, I really do. I really think that unemployed doctors have one of the hardest jobs now in healthcare. And why do you say that? Well, because the things that they are made to do are sometimes at odds with where they would like to do with the patients because of artificial constraints of the third-party payer system. And I was looking at this email This was posted to my Facebook account back in the day after I left a multi-specialty group. And this was from a patient. And this was public record, so it doesn't matter if I read it. I'm not going to use the name. But anyway, it says, this was after I left a multi-specialty group. And I had sent the multi-specialty group a letter that I thought we should send to the patients, and then they never really got back to me, and they ended up sending out their own letter, which was apparently very perfunctory. Anyway, so I get this message on my social media account, Tommy McElroy MD. It says, I would have rather been informed of your relationship status change with blank directly by you than to have received a stupid letter today from some corporate idiot I don't even know telling me my future relationship with you is terminated. You dropped the ball on this one big time. Extremely, in capital letters, disappointed. Guess my wife and I need to start all over again for a medical provider. So
where was this posted?
On my Tommy McElroy MD site.
Really?
Back in the day. So that's just an idea of the kind of things that, so obviously it wasn't my idea to do this, but he doesn't know that. And so.
Well, he doesn't know that, but he also should not have assumed.
But that's the thing is, why not? I mean, you go to the doctors, like we talked about before, you go to the doctor's office, you assume that your poor performance of the care that you get is because that's the way they like to do things. But a lot of times there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you have no idea about as a patient.
That's absolutely correct, right?
You know, so you think that the people up front are rude to you because they have you there sitting with 20 patients, when in actuality that's just the way that they do business. That's the business model. It'd be like if you were upset that your hamburger at McDonald's was not cooked to your order. Well, they don't do it that way. They cook hamburgers to everyone. They cook all the same. That's their business model, mass production of hamburgers. And they're not going to make one medium for you and make one well done for someone else and make one a little bit bigger for someone else. It's all the same. And so when you go to see an employed doctor, and if you didn't have a good experience, it's not necessarily that doctor's fault. It's a lot of different people's different faults. And what there really is it's the fault of the system. The system being the system that is dysfunctional, that hopefully is going to be eradicated as we go forward. And that's why we do what we do here as a concierge medicine practice, is we're doing our part to restore the humanity to medicine. Right.
If you're working for someone else, you're going to follow their rules. And that's the way it is. You know, so when you're a doctor and they want you to see 2 patients at 5 o'clock, or I'm sorry, not 5 o'clock, let's say 3 o'clock, and for 10 minutes at a time, how can a doctor possibly do that? They've overbooked them. That happens all the time. And then this doctor is supposed to see this patient in 10 minutes. It cannot be done.
And then
cannot be done properly.
And do all these click boxes.
And do their notes. And, you know, return emails and phone calls.
And now with the merger of CVS and Aetna, I've seen that they're going to start using the in-store CVSs as primary care clinics.
Yes.
And so they have said they're going to be like direct primary care.
So can you imagine, say I'm going to the doctor and they're like, oh, who's your doctor? Oh, it's in CVS.
A lot of people will like that.
They do because it's convenient. Like there's no appointment needed.
Exactly. You just walk in. Yeah. Hey, I'm feeling like my blood pressure's a little high. Maybe get my cholesterol checked. That's the way.
Can we do my pap while I'm here? How about my breast exam? Yeah. Yes, it is convenient for patients. I mean, I can see why
anything.
I can see why people. I think. Well, if it's going to be primary care, yes, I guess it's just strange to me.
I wouldn't do it, but I don't think there's anything wrong with having the option. I think it's great because it makes people realize that there's different options outside of what's currently available. Which is you get a booklet in the mail, which is ridiculous because I don't know if they still do that or not, but booklets are like from the 1980s. That's like ordering. That'd be like if people shop for Christmas through the Sears catalog now. You get a booklet with doctors and then on your that you can look through. Anyway, I think it's good that people have options. I think it's good that I hope what it does is open people's ideas up to what is actually health care versus health insurance, and that's one of the big dilemmas we have. I saw. Kevin Wackazy, who was on our show a couple weeks ago, he has been invited to speak at the AAPS Thrive Not Survive conference. Anyway, they put on a yearly conference where they tell doctors about how to escape from third-party practices and start their own practice. And so he's been invited to speak there. Anyway, he always talks about that on Twitter as, healthcare is not health insurance. And it's like beating a drum to try to make people understand that. And so when people understand that healthcare and health insurance don't necessarily aren't equivalent, then they'll be more open to new ideas like membership medicine. Anyway, I just thought that was funny when I found that, and I was like, oh, I remember that.
Yeah. Well, I guess he's not going to come here and join us since he seems so angry.
Well, whatever. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was my father turned 69 years old.
Yes. Happy birthday, Keith.
Keith McElroy, and he lives in Wapalapin, Pennsylvania, and Dad is 69 now. And I remember, what was it? Gosh, seems like not long ago. My dad was. We're just talking about it yesterday. In his 40s, my dad was working at a reclamation project. So my dad, brief history. My dad met my mom in the Philippines that I'm aware of. My dad grew up in Lakeland, Florida. Our family goes back to Florida since Florida was founded, and in the 1820s, and before that from Scotch-Irish origins through Georgia and North Carolina. Anyway, that's one side of the family. So my dad was born and raised in Lakeland, and then he went and joined the Navy after a couple stints in college, which didn't work out because he just lost interest. And so he went and joined the Navy, and then he was in the Navy, and then he met my mother. And at that time, my mother had a little baby named Fred, and they got married. They got married, and they moved back to Great Lakes, Illinois, and then they had another baby named Tommy, and then they moved to Florida. And then they had a baby named Kevin and a baby named Melinda. Anyway, so in this meantime, when I was growing up, my dad used to work at the mines. And then he worked at different lumber yards. So he worked for Wicks, which was in Lakeland, Florida. He worked for Lowe's, and he worked for this company called Joyner Lumber. And then he worked for a company that was doing reclamation of mines called, I think it was Teddy Sutherland. My dad was talking yesterday saying, yeah, he used to go and do these jobs so fast. And the owner wanted to string these jobs out because he's like, you're working too hard. Because he gets the owner says, look, I can reclaim this pit. It's going to take me, a year. When he could really do it in 6 months maybe. But he gets paid for a year to do it. So my dad would show up, and my dad being a hard worker would just knock it out. And he actually got pissed at my dad for doing that.
Keith, you have to slow down.
And so one time my dad applied to be a prison, jail, work in the jails, deputy sheriff, working in the corrections officer. And then this owner actually told the people they called for a reference. And the guy told them that my dad was like, he likes to go his own way, makes his own rules, kind of a loose cannon type, So they said, well, the hell, we're not hiring him. So my dad didn't get hired. So what did my dad do? My dad said, no, the hell with this. So he became a security guard. He used to call it train killer because they took it seriously. He had a captain, and his name was Richard. My dad called him Captain Dick.
Oh, anyway, that's nice.
He was like the sheriff, and he thought he was like the old time sheriff to my dad. He was like telling my dad, like, yeah, before I showed up, there was people hiding in the bushes, but he came in, he straightened it all out. You know, he's like a Wyatt Earp. And so my dad was security guard, and then he said he didn't want to do that forever. So my dad started going back to school in his 40s, and he started going to Lakeland at USF Lakeland back when before it was Polk State College, and PCC and Lakeland had a joint campus. Anyways, he went to USF Lakeland, and he started getting his degree, and then he ended up finally becoming a teacher in I think he was in the early 40s. Anyway, all this is to say is my dad has been through a lot and actually had a heart attack in his 40s.
I know that's very scary for you.
Yeah, well, in his 40s. But he's been alive since then. And I remember thinking when he had that heart attack, I thought every year, maybe the last year that he's around, because it was really. Mm-hmm. I mean, when someone but here he is, age 69.
He's had a couple strokes too, right?
He did. Mm-hmm. Age 69 and still living, and he lives in Pennsylvania with my stepmother, Kathy, who will have a birthday next month.
January 28th, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and so Keith, if you're listening, you should be receiving a package, I believe, tomorrow, 21st. Birthday package.
Mm-hmm. I didn't tell him yesterday. It won't be a surprise. Mm-hmm. My dad likes to watch the internet. I don't know if he watches our show, but he watches a lot of stuff.
Well, maybe he watches like my mom.
With it on mute.
Yeah.
That's good thing she doesn't listen to the podcast on mute. It's funny because social media for doing what we do sometimes isn't that useful. So when I put, like right now, I've posted that this show's live, but I posted it on Facebook. Oops. But I posted it to my personal Facebook account because if I post it on my media account, my business account, it'll have like a reach of 10.
Yes, because they want you to spend $20 to boost the post, and then it will reach thousands.
Right. I don't think Facebook is worth so much money. The capitalization is, I don't know if you did the market capitalization. I think they said it's worth more than this. I don't know. Excuse me. Something crazy. Worth more than McDonald's, I think, which McDonald's actually owns property. Like if something happened tomorrow and McDonald's couldn't sell hamburgers, they own a lot of property that they could sell. Facebook is what is it? It's a software program with a lot of names and numbers and data. Mm-hmm. But anyway, the point of it is if Facebook's like nickel and diamond people like me to get money to promote my thing, I mean, where are they headed?
Well, I mean, they're going to continue with doing exactly what they're doing. I mean, because people love Facebook.
But for how long? I mean, how long is people going to be loving Facebook in 20 years?
Well, I don't know. What was it?
What lasts for that long?
MySpace. Yeah, do you know MySpace is apparently still around?
It is.
I didn't even know that.
It is, but it's not.
Well, I think.
You don't know of it.
Well, Facebook is nice because you can share pictures. Now, I personally like Instagram the best. Yeah. I like it the most because you post pictures, you don't see any nasty comments, or there's no negative posts on Instagram. Instagram is by far the best. Mm-hmm. But Facebook, people like it for sharing all their personal experiences, their negative experiences. There's just so much people can express on Facebook.
But is it going to be? That. Is it worth is it worth as much as it is?
Apparently so.
I mean, in 40 years, is Facebook going to be around?
How many people is on Facebook? How many do you think?
But I'm saying in 25, 30 years, is Facebook going to be around? Are we going to have computers like this anymore?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But, if it's not Facebook, there'll be something else.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It may be something else. But what's going to happen to all these people that are invested in Facebook right now?
I know. Think about all the pictures.
At one point, well, that's true. All those pictures. At one point, AOL bought Time Warner. Okay. Merged and bought them, quote unquote. So now AOL's basically an internet site now.
You don't,
but it used to be this big thing.
Yes. Now you don't hear. You never hear anyone say AOL.
I know, but that's what my point is so what's going to happen to Facebook? Anyway, all that's to say is that's why I posted. I just noticed that I posted it. I posted on my site rather than the Time Macro MD because 1 or 10 people may see it if I post on Time McElroy MD.
I think Facebook's going to be around for a long time because you can sell things on Facebook.
Well,
there's networking you can do on Facebook. You can do just regular, socializing with your family and your friends on Facebook.
I guess a lot of people buy ads.
You can buy ads. You can boost your post. You can advertise your business. There's a lot that you can do on Facebook.
I'll tell you, we bought ads before and it hardly didn't pay for anything. Nothing. There was a zero return on investment.
No, we were spending a lot of money on ads.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But anyway, it was a life lesson.
Yeah.
We don't do it, and we don't
But
do it
that's how
anymore.
they get their money, is through ads.
Mm-hmm.
So their revenue model is people buying ads like me, like I used to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like how long till you run out of those people?
Well, there's
it's like the whole pyramid thing.
There's
it's like you get paid money by people investing, and then you take that money that people invest and give it to the people who originally invest, and that's the pyramid. That's the Ponzi way.
There's new businesses though that are starting up every single day, and
but how long till the word gets out that Facebook ads don't work?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if it really matters. We learned our lesson, but then the next business, new businesses are starting every day, and the first thing they do is go to social media to advertise. And they're going to learn after some time. Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's going to be around for a while.
If you want to follow us on Facebook, I have Tommy McElroy MD, then there's Echelon-Health, and then there's also Tracy's on Instagram at Concierge_medicine. I'm at Twitter at Tampa Direct Care, and there's a LinkedIn. Anyway, so for all of you joining us, if you want to learn more about the Dr. Tommy Show, go to AskDrTommy.com. You can watch live, you can listen on demand or watch on demand. You can subscribe on YouTube, you can subscribe on iTunes. You could also subscribe on any of the platforms. And then if you want to come in for a visit to see us as Concierge Medicine Practice, our website is tampadirectcare.com. And if you want to come in for a consultation, we are glad to have you. We have consultations available. And come in and learn about what we do and learn about the difference between what we do and what some other practices do, whether they're concierge medicine practices or regular insurance-based practices.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Complimentary consultations.
I think that's about it.
But next time we come on, Christmas is going to be done and over with,
Oh, you're right.
So Christmas is Monday. Merry Christmas to everyone.
You're right. Merry Christmas to everybody. And tonight's the last night of Hanukkah, as I learned today on 970 WFLA, Jack Harrison crew. And happy New Year coming up. And we will be joining you from our new office shortly into the new year. And that will be exciting. We are so excited to be getting a new office. Yes. One that we are going to redesign ourselves. And it's going to be exciting. It's going to have a upstairs lounge or something. It's going to have a movie theater up there, maybe a little projector. It's going to have downstairs got a member area where there's a kitchen where you can help yourself. Small kitchenette, whatever. Help yourself to refreshments and food. Then we have a couple of exam rooms, and it's going to be a beautiful thing. And it's on North Florida Avenue. If you want to learn more, go to tampadirectcare.com and I'll show you the address.
And if you want to help us, just give us a call.
If there's anybody out there who is interested in learning showing us your painting skills. If there's anybody interested in showing us your landscaping skills, or if there's anyone interested in just coming in to say hi, come on in. And
our contractors are there right now.
Our contractors are there right now, namely Berta and Mike. All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Oh my gosh, that's so neat.
Yeah, I saw 25 earlier.
sense. You know, when you read it like this, you don't think about that.
Yeah, last night I heard them kites. Remind me of when they carried off that Miller boy. Took him over there behind them trees. They just found pieces of him. I told them damn kids to stay in the house.